The day the baby in my womb died, my husband was celebrating his idealized first love son's birthday. Later, he knelt and begged me to reconcile. Under his shocked gaze, I took his brother's hand. "I'm sorry, sir, but I'm engaged." Mid-ceremony, my phone buzzed with a text message, a video. In the video, a man gently played the guitar and sang a love song, his gaze soft and lingering as he looked into the camera. That fervent gaze made me feel utterly devastated. I had known Marcus for 8 years and been married to him for 5, but he had never sung for me. At a gathering in our 2nd year of marriage, I overheard his brother jokingly call him a love song crooner, and I was so curious, I begged him for ages to sing for me. What did he say then? Oh, he casually snuffed out his cigarette and said indifferently, "I stopped singing a long time ago." My eyes welled up, and tears streamed down my face. So it wasn't that he stopped singing, but that it wasn't meant for me, right? Wiping away my tears, I screenshotted the text message, saved the video, and called Marcus. "Grace." A scornful female voice came through the receiver. I instinctively gripped my phone, feeling as if invisible thorns were erupting all over me. Scarlett, Marcus's idealized first love who had just returned to the country, was a former rival whose voice alone made me feel as if I was facing a formidable enemy. Taking a deep breath, I dug my other hand into my palm. "Put on the phone. Marcus is taking a shower, he's unavailable." The night was growing late. At this hour, a man showering at the home of someone he was attracted to, the purpose was clear. Unable to contain my fury any longer, my eyes turned bloodshot, and I trembled with rage. "He's my husband. Have you no shame?" The other end chuckled indifferently. "Today's your 5th anniversary? Yet he still came over at my word, just like on your wedding day 5 years ago. TSK, come to think of it, I almost pity you." Her words drained all color from my face, and my eyes turned bloodshot. No wonder Marcus was late on our wedding day. "Aren't you curious? He's not someone who meddles, so why did he save you when you first met?" "That's because I also have an idealized first love in my heart, and he saved me." It felt as if invisible hands were tightly gripping my heart, making me tremble uncontrollably from the pain. Tears rolled from the corners of my eyes as I clutched the armrest tightly, listening to the voice from the other end. "Grace, from beginning to end, you were nothing but my substitute." A sound came from the other end, and then the call was cut. I stood frozen for a long time, tears already streaming down my cheeks. The scenes from our first meeting and the past 8 years, at this moment of revealing the truth, along with my wasted feelings, became bloody and barely recognizable. Marcus and I met at the end of summer, in a very cliché story of a hero saving a damsel. I was a lawyer, and I had won my first case beautifully. Full of joy, I was walking when the defendant's family ambushed me. As a thick stick came down, my hands and feet were bound, and I resignedly closed my eyes. The imagined pain didn't come. I opened my eyes to see Marcus with his back to me, having snatched the stick and quickly driven the 3 people away. He turned to look at me, curling his lips as if still a bit shaken, and said, "It's okay now." The glow of the setting sun enveloped him, making his features soft and incredibly handsome. I heard my heart, which had been calm for 20 years, beat with an intensity it had never known before. In that moment, Marcus seemed like a god to me. How ridiculous. The devotion I had bravely poured into him for 8 years, after falling in love at first sight, was actually the result of another woman's machinations. It turned out that the ending had been predetermined from the very beginning. A sharp cramp in my lower abdomen pulled me from my memories. ICLU. Ched my stomach, my gaze falling on the dining table. Amidst the fragrant dishes, a black and white report stood out jarringly. Today was our 5th wedding anniversary. Marcus had said he'd come back to celebrate it together, and I had originally planned to surprise him today. Now, it seemed it wouldn't be a surprise. Thinking of the baby in my belly, I stood from my chair, picked up the report, and left the house. Upbringing has a profound impact on a child, and I wanted to try just once to give my child a complete family. Nearing the apartment, I dialed Marcus's phone. "Come down, I'm at Scarlett's." "Daddy," a child's voice rang out, and my mind went blank. "Daddy? What daddy? Whose daddy is he?" A frantic honking sounded, and I looked up to see a truck veering out of control, crashing into me. My body lurched forward, then was thrown against the taxi window. Sticky blood blurred my vision, and the pain in my lower abdomen intensified. I could feel something important slipping away. My baby. Raising my hand, which felt impossibly heavy, I pressed it to my lower abdomen and let out a faint whimper. "Grace?" Marcus seemed to sense something was wrong on the other end of the line and called my name. My consciousness gradually blurred. In a daze, I heard the boy on the other end ask him, "Daddy, Leo's birthday wish today is for you and Mommy to be together forever. Will it come true?" The other end fell silent for a moment, then responded, "Of course." The dial tone sounded as the call ended. In my last conscious moment, I thought, so he was celebrating his idealized first love son's birthday. He called him Daddy, while my baby, after hearing that Daddy, lost its life forever. My body grew cold, and my consciousness plunged into darkness. I felt as if I had died at that moment, along with my child. I woke up in the morning, my head heavy and groggy. My hand cautiously rested on my lower abdomen. The blood connection told me my baby was gone. I closed my eyes, and tears rolled from the corners, disappearing into the pillow. "You're awake?" A male voice dropped along with the sound of the door closing. Opening my eyes, I was slightly stunned. "Why are you here?" "Ethan, Marcus's good friend. The three of us started a business together, so we were also friends. Before we got married, he was the only one who subtly warned me that even if we married and had children, Marcus would never put me first in his heart." How confident I was back then. I said with a bright smile, that before our child was born, I would definitely make him love me the most. Now, my child was gone, and reality had slapped me hard. Regarding the company's matters, no one answered his phone, so I called you. The nurse told me you were in a car accident. Ethan leaned over and checked my temperature with the back of his hand. Good, no fever anymore. He was too close. I smelled the strong scent of smoke on him, mixed with his unique woody fragrance, and shifted uncomfortably. "Thank you. Where's Marcus?" Recalling the word daddy when my child died, my heart ached uncontrollably. If my baby could have heard that, how much pain would it have felt? "His phone is off. I can't reach him." Ethan also told me that the truck driver had been arrested for drunk driving and, with a lawyer, would likely be sentenced to at least 5 years. I stared silently at the ceiling, remaining quiet for a long time. Ethan sighed, pulled out some tissues, and handed them to me, his voice hoarse. "Grace, you can still have another child." I sniffled and murmured, "No, I won't." "But it won't be his. Just hours ago, he was safe in my belly. How could he be gone?" "It was my fault. I shouldn't have gone to find Marcus. I shouldn't have foolishly hoped for the love of a man whose heart wasn't with me for so many years. It was Marcus's fault. He shouldn't have married me while his heart belonged entirely to another woman. He was unfaithful in his marriage, indecisive. But what did my I do wrong? He was pure and innocent. Why was he the one who had to die?" Ethan scrolled on his phone for a bit, then looked at me, hesitating to speak. "What's wrong?" He hesitantly handed his phone to me. Scarlett had just posted on her social media post half an hour ago, "Happy, darling. Mommy and Daddy will be there for every birthday from now on." The little boy in the photo, around 5 years old, had delicate features and bright white teeth. Marcus and Scarlett stood on either side, their arms around his shoulders, both smiling radiantly. They were a perfect couple, completely devoted to each other. Ethan saw my expression and excused himself to smoke, leaving the room. Before he left, he dropped a line. "If you want to get back at them, I can help you." He closed the door behind him. I took out the ultrasound report, hugged it tightly to my chest, and cried heartbrokenly. My baby was forever stuck on the day his father committed infidelity. And the only proof he ever existed was this blood-stained report. From beginning to end, I was probably the only one who remembered he had ever been there. His father was still entertaining another child when he died. How utterly absurd. I dug my fingernails tightly into my palms. "Marcus, you have to suffer as much as I do for this to be called compensation." Marcus arrived around noon. I had sent Ethan off to work, leaving me alone in the hospital room. "How did you get into a car accident? Where are you hurt?" He took my hand, his gaze sweeping over me. The scent of Scarlett's perfume clung to him, making me nauseous. I subtly pulled my hand back and tossed my phone in front of him. "Didn't you say you were working overtime at the office yesterday?" The screen prominently displayed a screenshot of Scarlett's social media post. Marcus frowned. "Yesterday, Scarlett begged me to celebrate Leo's birthday with her. I was afraid you'd overthink it, Grace. I didn't expect you to get into a car accident." "Leo? Marcus?" Scarlett Tanley knows how to pick names. "Then what about your phone? Why was it off?" "My phone ran out of battery yesterday." Scarlett suddenly pushed open the door and walked to Marcus's side. "Grace, I'm sorry. If the child hadn't insisted on his daddy celebrating his birthday yesterday, this wouldn't have happened to you. Blame me if you must." She looked down at her toes, biting her lip, looking exactly like someone who had been horribly wronged. TSK, every time she showed that expression, Marcus's protective instincts would flare up, and it never failed. Sure enough, he pulled Scarlett behind him. This was an accident, what does it have to do with you? Besides, Grace is fine, isn't she? Fine? I had a concussion and a minor fracture in my left leg, and all I got was a casual fine? Perhaps himself never noticed that in front of Scarlett, I was always referred to by my full name, Grace. The difference in intimacy was obvious. My lower abdomen throbbed, and I was furious. How did I not know you suddenly had a son? Leo was making a fuss, asking for his dad, and I had no choice but to. Scarlett stepped forward, bowed, and apologized to me. I'm sorry. If you mind, next time I'll make him call you uncle. From my angle, I happened to see a hickey on her collarbone. That redness reminded me of the blood from beneath me last night. Unable to hold back any longer, I propped myself up to get out of bed and swung my hand, slapping Scarlett. What are you doing? Marcus pushed me away, then turned to ask Scarlett with concern, Scarlett, are you all right? Having just had a miscarriage, I was already weak and unprepared. I fell to the floor, hitting my head on the cabinet. My head was spinning, and sticky blood flowed down my forehead. Struggling, I scrambled back up and lunged at her again. I couldn't care less about rationality or plans, I just wanted them to pay for my child's life. I rushed over and desperately squeezed Scarlett's neck. Tell me, if Leo heard his other died, would he also throw a fit and ask for his mother? Marcus forcibly pried my hands away, and then a slap landed on my face. You're crazy, Grace. This slap was incredibly heavy, leaving the entire left side of my face numb and burning. I raised my hand and, with all my might, slapped him back twice as hard. You two dogs have driven me insane long ago. Why don't you just die? Blood blurred my vision. I must have looked terrifying at that moment, for I saw horror on Marcus's face. How did you become like this? Marcus murmured to himself. Betrayers never truly know the pain and torment you've endured behind their backs. They enjoy the thrill of a new life, yet they still condescendingly criticize you for changing. How dare they? I know it's all my fault, but Grace, what you just said was truly awful. Scarlett seemed to be suffering immense injustice, and tears streamed from her eyes. She pushed Marcus away and ran. Scarlett. Marcus called out. Are you satisfied? He gave me a cold look, as if I were a criminal, and without waiting for my reply, he chased after her. I clutched my throbbing lower abdomen, I limped back to bed. Satisfied? No. I was not satisfied. I made some chicken soup. Try it. That afternoon, Ethan knocked on the hospital room door. He came? He pursed his lips, staring at my bandaged forehead. I nodded. I'll go find him. Forget it. I've already paid him back. Even after all this, you're not getting a divorce? Ethan was furious. Did he send you to persuade me? No, didn't you guess? I like you. I looked at him in shock. His slightly flushed ears and ragged breathing all indicated that what he had just said was true. Looking at his shining eyes, I felt like I was seeing my past self. The words of refusal churned in my throat, but I still spoke them. We can't be. I'm your sister-in-law. But he cheated. Don't you know that cheating men never change? Do you love him that much? I turned my head away. It's none of your business. Love felt too illusory. I couldn't guarantee whether I'd ever like him in the future. I didn't want to hold him back. After a long pause, he sighed. I found out Scarlett was financially supported by multiple people abroad. If you don't want a divorce, those photos might be useful. I told you, he won't believe it. Marcus's trust in Scarlett was so unwavering. That day, I laid out all the photos I found in front of him and told him about Scarlett's past abroad. He only glanced at them, then looked me up and down with disappointment for a long time. He said, Grace, Scarlett and I are childhood sweethearts. I know what kind of person she is better than you do. What are you trying to prove by forging these pieces of evidence? How many times do I have to tell you we're innocent before you believe me? Don't think everyone is as sordid as you. In his heart, Scarlett was a pure and unblemished idealized first love. And I was a shrew with sordid thoughts, willing to resort to any means. 8 years of devotion felt like nothing but my own self-pitying delusion. In that moment, I felt truly powerless. That was also the first time I entertained the thought of giving up. But I was unwilling to let go. My youth, my love, and everything from these 8 years had been given to him. The sunk cost was too high, and I hesitated. I am a very stubborn person. I kept banging my head against a wall until I was painfully brought to my senses. Only then would I turn around and remind myself never to make the same mistake again. A week later, I was discharged. As helped me out of bed, Marcus pushed open the door, and I was utterly surprised. not only by his sudden arrival but also by his bruised cheekbone and corner of his mouth. I subtly shifted my gaze to Ethan beside me. He raised an eyebrow at me and whispered into my ear, "You have such a severe injury on your forehead, he has to pay some price for it, right?" "Don't worry," I bagged him and beat him. "He doesn't." No, it was me. I couldn't help but curl my lips. "You truly are a good friend to him." He was extremely proud. "To me, you're far more important than he is. So, how about it? If you divorce, consider me." Ever since that day he confessed his feelings. It was as if he had awakened a new ability to utter sweet nothings. No matter how many times he was rejected, he remained as energetic as if he had been pumped full of adrenaline. He said he had already missed one chance and didn't want any more regrets. "What are you doing here?" Marcus's raised voice interrupted our whispering. He stood at the doorway, looking displeased at Ethan. "If you're not going to take care of your wife, I certainly have to look after a partner in the company, don't I? How come I never knew you liked to meddle so much?" Marcus narrowed his eyes, filled with displeasure. Normally, I would have broken free from Ethan's support and gone to Marcus's side to appease him. But now, I simply held on to Ethan's wrist, took the crutches he offered with my other hand, and walked step by step to Marcus's side. "We're just friends. Don't be unreasonable." He had said that 3 days ago. Now, I was returning his words in full. "Grace, why don't you tell me properly, where have you been after work this past week?" I turned my head, giving him a flat look. Marcus said self-righteously, "That day, you humiliated Scarlett so much that she was distraught enough to try to kill herself. If I hadn't been with her, you'd have a death on your conscience right now. Since you're discharged, I'll take you to apologize to her." A scoff came from beside me. "Your wife just got into a car accident, you go accompany your first love, and then you expect your newly discharged wife to apologize to your first love? I never realized Mr. Marcus was so peculiar before." "None of your business." Marcus, feeling guilty, raised his voice, grabbed Ethan's collar, and raised his fist. "Enough." He didn't say anything wrong. I pulled Marcus's hand away from Ethan. "Are you coming or not?" Marcus helped me into the car. Leaning my head out the passenger window, I said with a smile, "Ethan, thank you for staying with me this past week. I'll personally cook for you another day." The car sped away, moving extremely fast. The wind whipped painfully across my face. I quickly pulled my head back inside, rolled up the window, and leaned against it with my eyes closed. I remembered seeing a post once that said love and lack thereof were both hidden in the details. But love could blind you. So even though every tiny detail in life was reminding me that he didn't love me, I still kept finding excuses for him. Only now that I had pulled myself away did I realize how foolish I had been. "Ethan? Didn't you used to call him Mr. Ethan?" Marcus's slightly irate voice cut into my thoughts. "Times change. Besides, didn't you say it's just a title?" I looked up and forced a smile at him. "Don't be so petty, Mr. Marcus." Marcus tugged at his tie with his left hand. "Stay away from him." I laughed aloud. "Why should I? You're allowed to have a female confidant, but I'm not allowed to have male friends. You left me at that hospital. Did you ever consider how hard it would be for me to go to the bathroom with a broken leg, how helpless I'd be with no one to bring me food, or how miserable I'd feel alone in that empty hospital room with leg pain and a headache? Your mind is full of your idealized first love and her child. Then let's get a divorce. Go live with her." Marcus parked the car in a nearby spot. "I'm sorry, Grace. I didn't know." It was rare for me to see guilt on his face. "You really didn't know? Then why did you spend a whole week with Scarlett's son when he had a fever? Is it that you didn't know, or that I'm just not as important as Scarlett's son?" Marcus wanted to say more, but I turned my head and leaned against the seat back. "I'm tired. Call me when we get home." Early the next morning, aft. We returned home, I was woken by Marcus. I pushed open the bedroom door with my crutches and froze. Vibrant red roses were arranged in a large heart shape on the pristine white floor. Rose petals spread from the bedroom doorway, and everywhere I looked was a fiery red, like a wedding aisle. The candlelight glowed brilliantly, illuminating the dim living room. A rose-shaped cake sat on the coffee table. Marcus stood holding a large bouquet of red roses, smiling as he looked at me. The scene was incredibly romantic. I gazed steadily at him. As our eyes met, I saw his face, made exceptionally soft and warm by the candlelight, and felt a moment of disorientation. I didn't even notice when he walked over to me. "Why are you crying?" He put down the roses and frantically bent down to wipe away my tears. I reached up to touch my face, only then realizing I was drenched in tears. After so many years of marriage, he had never created such a surprise for me. These little girly gestures, these rituals, had never even been mine in dreams. Yet, on Marcus's tablet, on a private social media account visible only to himself, I had seen him spend 2 months' savings to set off fireworks for Scarlett, write her 100 love letters, knit her a handmade scarf, release 99 sky lanterns for her, each filled with his sincere love. The passionate sincerity of his youth, he had given it all unreservedly to another woman. And then, our relationship skipped the honeymoon phase entirely, quickly settling into blandness. He was never someone who didn't understand romance. He just wasn't willing to share that romance with me. It turned out, I still wasn't resigned. Unwilling to accept that all my efforts for so long were no match for a single glance from Scarlett. Unwilling to accept that all my sacrifices couldn't earn a moment of Marcus's true effort. I didn't know how he suddenly got the idea to prepare all this for me. Perhaps he felt guilty too. I'm sorry, Grace, for leaving you alone at the hospital. I messed up our 5th anniversary too. I'm making it up to you today. I'll keep my distance from Scarlett from now on. Can you forgive me? Marcus held me close, his voice incredibly soft and pleasant. I quirked the corner of my lips, replying indifferently, okay. He smiled contentedly. I've neglected you lately. Once your leg is better, we'll go see the aurora borealis in Iceland. Haven't you always wanted to go? When we got married, I had scoured most honeymoon guides online. I instantly fell in love with the magnificent aurora and then tirelessly told Marcus that once we had money, I wanted him to make up for a honeymoon with me. At the time, I was full of anticipation, envisioning our married life in my mind, and didn't pay much attention to his response. It wasn't until I saw that private social media account that I realized they had already been to Iceland. In that moment, I truly felt like a joke. So, he did remember. But I no longer looked forward to traveling with him. Really? I feigned surprise. That's wonderful, I've wanted to go for ages, but... I hesitated, and sure enough, Marcus's expression changed, looking a little anxious. I stood on tiptoe and leaned into his ear, taking his hand and placing it on my lower abdomen. I thought we could go with the baby then, the 3 of us together as a family. We had been together for 6 years, and before today, I had never lied to him, so he wouldn't doubt my words. Marcus looked down at my flat lower abdomen, startled. You're having a baby? What do you mean by that? I feigned indignation and pushed him away. Isn't it your baby? No, that's not what I meant. He was clearly bewildered. After a few seconds, he looked at me, then his eyes crinkled with a sudden smile. I'm going to be a father? He picked me up and spun me around, smiling a little foolishly. I'm going to be a daddy. I knew that his joy at this moment was entirely genuine. At the beginning of the year, we talked about having a child. We had once both looked forward to the birth of a child. But the day he learned Scarlett was getting a divorce, that anticipation abruptly stopped, and he never mentioned it again. Marcus carefully placed me on the sofa, then crouched in front of me, taking my hand. Grace, are you uncomfortable anywhere? Or is there anything you'd like to eat? I'll make it for you. I shook my head and patted his shoulder. I'll tell you if I need anything. I wouldn't miss a chance to exploit you like this. He laughed a little foolishly, nodding repeatedly, then pulled out a small, square box from his pocket as if presenting a treasure. I prepared a 5th anniversary gift for you. Grace, you chose the ring when we got married. You've been by my side for 8 years, giving so much for me. From now on, I'll make it all up to you, starting with this ring, okay? His distinctly jointed fingers opened the box, revealing a ruby ring nestled inside. Marcus didn't remember that I had never been the one who liked red, it was Scarlett. He remembered all her preferences. And then, based on her preferences, 5 years into our marriage, he prepared a grand surprise for me for the first time, saying he wanted to make amends. Absurd and laughable. He took my left hand and removed my original plain band ring. The ring, worn for over 1,000 days and nights, left only a faint mark when taken off. Just like my feelings for him, after countless experiences, only hatred remained, impossible to erase. Without waiting for my answer, Marcus directly tried to slip the ring onto my ring finger. My 6 years of tolerance and love had given him the audacity to act so recklessly. He knew I would never refuse him. Just as the ring was about to slip onto my finger, Scarlett's unique ringtone sounded. His hand swerved, missing my finger. Marcus instinctively glanced at me, then took his phone and went to the balcony. I don't know what was said on the other end, but WH. And he came out, his brow was deeply furrowed. Leo is missing, I go. His eyebrows furrowed even deeper, as if displeased by my indifference. Grace, if you don't like it, I won't. How ironic. Back then, no matter how hysterically I tried to stop him from going to Scarlet, I couldn't. Now that I wasn't stopping him, he actually wanted me to hold him back. I'm fine. The child is more important. I handed him his coat from the cabinet, leaning on my crutches. After having a baby, I feel like I was too petty before, being jealous of a child. I won't make things difficult for you again, don't worry. He gave me a meaningful look and left. He slammed the door shut with a thunderous sound. I knew he was displeased. But, what right do you have to be displeased? It was evening, almost sunset, when I returned from the office. The large house was pitch black and eerily quiet. Marcus still hadn't returned. I turned on the lights, sat on the sofa, and stared at the 2 rings on the coffee table for a long time, until my phone received an image. Marcus was sleeping soundly, eyes closed. Fresh red bite marks on his shoulder and bloody fingernail marks on his neck clearly indicated what had just happened. Scarlet lay on the pillow beside him, smiling provocatively at the camera. I silently saved the photo. Knowing about his infidelity was different from seeing it with my own eyes. I leaned back on the sofa, closing my eyes. In that moment, I felt nothing. Only later did I realize that someone as supposedly pure as moonlight could also cheat. For so many years, with Marcus's successful career and handsome face, he had been tempted by many young women, beautiful and charming ones, but he had never been swayed. He was a person with a strong sense of principles, disdaining anything that went against morality. Yet all of Marcus's boundaries completely collapsed the moment he encountered Scarlet. She was the inescapable doom he couldn't avoid. A revered figure brought low, defy ing societal morals, becoming ugly and contemptible. I couldn't even recall what he looked like when we first met anymore. It was nearing dawn when Marcus returned. I'm a light sleeper. When his alcohol-scented body pulled me into his arms, I woke up. Squinting my eyes, I sleepily asked him, "How's Leo?" He paused, then placed a hand on my shoulder, pushing me slightly away. His gaze held inquiry and a barely perceptible hint of panic. "Why aren't you asking me why I just got back?" "I did ask, remember?" I opened my eyes. "We're having a baby now. I don't want to fight with you anymore." For a while, every time Marcus came home late, we'd have a huge fight that ended badly. Each time, it ended with me being the first to back down. I could only repeatedly reassure myself with Marcus's past kindness that he cared about me. I told myself if I just endured this period, we would eventually go back to how things were. Unfortunately, when a woman places her hopes on a man whose heart belongs to another, she's destined to lose everything. "I'm sorry, Grace." He evidently remembered the past too and pulled me back into his embrace. "It won't happen again. I'll stay by your side, and we'll live a good life together." "Okay," I said, curling my lips. After a long while, I heard him murmur to himself, "You used to wait for me in the living room, no matter how late I came home." I feigned sleep and turned over in his arms. Marcus watched me for a long time, then turned over, placing his hands protectively on my lower abdomen, his chest against my back, and leaned in to kiss my cheek. "Good night, wife." My heart jolted with alarm and I secretly clenched my fists. I had waited 5 years for that belated wife. 10 days after my child's death, I achieved what I had once longed for. Unfortunately, the part of my heart that loved him was already dead. Every interaction with him made me utterly nauseous. For 3 days straight, Marcus did as he said. Whether at the office or home, he stayed by my side almost constantly. Perhaps to show me his resolve, he blocked all of Scarlett's contact information right in front of me. Unable to reach him, Scarlett relentlessly sent me messages. There were voice messages from Marcus, their photos, and her incessant taunting words. I saved each one but never replied. Looking at Scarlett's text messages requesting a meeting, I curled my lips in satisfaction. Using the excuse of chatting with a friend, I went to the coffee shop to meet Scarlett, with Marcus waiting in the car. "Say what you need to say quickly. I have a prenatal appointment with the baby's father this afternoon." Her words got stuck in her throat before she could even speak, and her expression shifted several times. "You're pregnant? No wonder. No wonder he's ignoring you?" I sneered. "What's there for you to be proud of? The night he didn't come home, guess how many times we slept together?" Scarlett tilted her neck high, revealing an unfaded hickey, and smugly held her phone in front of me. It was an edited video of their intimacy. I glanced at it, then quietly took my phone and wirelessly transferred it to my own device. "If he knew you were manipulating him like this, he wouldn't let you off the hook." "Of course not. That night, he told me he loved me for a long time. From 18 to 21, he gave me the best years of his youth. What do you have to compete with me?" I added the video to a hidden album and sent a message for Marcus to come in and pick me up. If I were you, I'd get rid of that bastard in your belly as soon as possible. We might even be merciful enough to give you 30,000. Otherwise, you and your bastard. Just then, the waiter brought the coffee, and I stood up and splashed it on her face. Ah! Scarlett instantly sprang up from her chair. Coffee stains spread down her face and all over her body, leaving her utterly disheveled. What are you doing? Her hand was raised high, but I seized it. Miss Scarl. TT, we are legally married. If anyone is a bastard, it's your son, calling just anyone daddy at such a young age, just as low as you, the third-party mother. Because of her loud outburst, most people in the coffee shop were looking our way. Their gazes now held disdain, and they openly whispered about her with their companions. Scarlett's face twisted, and she shrieked at everyone, the unloved one is the third party. I chuckled softly. Then, Scarlett must be truly broad-minded. I know everything about your time abroad. Tell me, if I post those online, will your life in this country be even more miserable than it was overseas? Having said my piece, I turned and walked away. Grace! In my peripheral vision, Scarlett walked up beside me, pretended to twist her ankle, and bumped into me. I tumbled down the steps with the force of the impact, simultaneously twisting open the blood bag in my pocket. Grace! Marcus rushed towards me, his face anxious, and I closed my eyes with the movement. I didn't mean to, Marcus, Scarlett choked out. Shut up. Marcus snapped at her for the first time in his life. He picked me up and ran toward the door. His cold voice filled the air. You'd better pray my wife and child are all right, or I'll drag you down with me. After my best friend Mia gave me an anesthetic shot, I woke up to muffled sobs coming from outside the hospital room. The noise made my head ache. I called out, Marcus. You're awake, Grace. Marcus pushed the door open, took my hand, and forced a smile. Are you uncomfortable anywhere? It was the first time I had seen him so disheveled, his hair messy, his face unshaven. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he hadn't slept all night, or as if he had been crying. I pulled my hand away, clutching my lower abdomen. With a heavy heart, I said, we lost our baby. Ms. Grace, Scarlett walked in, her voice hoarse from crying. What are you doing in here? Get out. Marcus stood in front of me, reaching out to push Scarlett's shoulder. Scarlett turned sideways and fell to her knees. I'm so sorry, Ms. Grace. When I found out you were pregnant, I wanted to help you downstairs, but my heel broke, and I twisted my ankle. I'm so sorry I caused you to lose your child. You can hit me or yell at me, it's fine. Or, I'll have Leo recognize you as his godmother, and he'll honor you forever. It was remarkable how she could still be putting on a show at a moment like this. I played along, getting up from the bed, grabbed her by the collar, and slapped her hard twice. The next second, I was pulled away and held back onto the hospital bed. The doctor said you need to rest and shouldn't get angry right now. We can discuss anything else once you're discharged. Are you feeling sympathetic towards her? Marcus, if hitting me will calm her down, I wouldn't complain even if it killed me. Scarlett's eyes gleamed with calculation as she shuffled 2 steps on her knees to the hospital bed. Don't let my unintentional mistake affect your marital relationship. She was originally in the wrong, but if she were beaten half to death, the victim's identity would immediately switch. Then, Marcus wouldn't blame her, he'd feel guilty instead. After all, it was an unintentional mistake, right? I understood this logic, and Scarlett did too. What a pity. I tugged Marcus's sleeve with a half-smile. Marcus, I just saw a hickey on Scarlett's neck. She has a boyfriend so soon? Do you know who it is? Marcus's face stiffened. How would I know? I blocked her. Scarlett forced a smile. We just started seeing each other recently. I'll invite you two to dinner another day. But, isn't your boyfriend Marcus? I watched the two of them change expressions simultaneously and nonchalantly dropped a bombshell. And, you told me yourself. Ms. Grace, you can't just make jokes like that. Oh really? I played the recording. The night he didn't come home, guess how many times we slept together? If I were you, I'd get rid of what's in your belly as soon as possible. It's fake, it's all fake, Marcus, believe me, I never said any of that. I love you so much, how could I bear to harm your child? Scarlett lunged to grab the phone, but Marcus pushed her away. You lied to me. I was humiliated, pushed into a miscarriage, yet all this man cared about was that he had been lied to. Indeed, you don't truly understand pain until you've experienced it yourself. If you two want to argue, take it outside. I'm already drafting the divorce agreement. I'll give you all the shares, the assets and property will be mine. If there are no issues, we'll go register on Monday. I don't agree. Marcus was filled with regret. It's all my fault, Grace, you can hit me, curse me, whatever you want. I'll listen to you from now on. Please forgive me just this once, okay? No. I answered without hesitation. If you don't agree, I'll file for divorce. Then, your messy affairs won't be kept secret. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Scarlett also recorded a video of the two of you. Marcus's body stiffened, and he turned to look at Scarlett in disbelief. I did it because I loved you too much, Scarlett mumbled, head bowed. That was our only time together. Ha. I laughed out loud. As a mistress, don't you dare defile love. I'll mail you the divorce agreement tomorrow. Now, both of you, please leave. I'm sorry, Marcus said, his eyes red-rimmed. After a long silence, I heard the door close and let out a sigh of relief. 5 years of marriage ended miserably. Neither of us emerged from this marriage unscathed. The day we went to get the divorce decree after the cooling-off period was a rare sunny day. Marcus had shed the dejection he'd shown when we registered for divorce, and looked much more refreshed. Scarlett is pregnant. It was as if I'd been struck by a harsh blow, and I was stunned for a moment. One reason I had played this charade with him for so long was partly to shatter Scarlett's idealized image and prevent them from being together. They didn't deserve to be happy. Had I still underestimated his idealized first love's influence after all? Without waiting for my reply, Marcus continued, Grace, don't you think this is a sign from above? Our child just passed away, and Scarlett is already pregnant. It's as if the baby couldn't bear to leave us, so it came back. Let's not get divorced, okay? We can raise him together. He's the baby we've been looking forward to for so long. He excitedly stepped forward and grabbed my hand, but I shook him off. I couldn't help but slap him hard across the face. You truly sicken me. I dragged him to get the divorce decree, then drove away. In the car, I uploaded clips of fully clothed kissing scenes edited from the video, hospital room surveillance footage, photos of our marriage certificate and divorce decree, along with screenshots of Scarlett's social media posts provoking me. I also posted various details about Marcus and me online. I paid to keep it trending for 3 days, and they went viral. Countless people cursed them, and the company was boycotted across the internet. Marcus panicked and called me. Grace, are you crazy? What good does posting all this do you? You need to quickly post on social media to clarify. I cut him off. Impossible. You can't possibly think that cheating only costs you some money, can you? Things aren't that easy. Marcus, infidelity has consequences. Doesn't Scarlett love to sing praises of your invincible true love? From now on, the entire internet will remember your great love. How wonderful, a blessing others could only dream of. After saying that, I hung up and took out my phone card, then flew off to travel the world. After so many years of busyness, finally being idle, my mood was more relaxed than ever before. Later, I learned from a mutual friend that Scarlett had given birth to a boy, a product of a drunken night, with congenital intellectual disability. Marcus sold his shares to pay for the child's treatment. Scarlett couldn't stand living without money, so she took Leo and the money and ran off. My friend sighed, infidelity has consequences, after all. You two were so good together back then, but he just wouldn't. I cut him off and told him I was getting married. As if my words had conjured him, that very night, I saw Marcus, whom I hadn't seen in 2 years. He had changed a lot. His formerly dark hair was streaked with white. He stood there, gaunt and bony, looking as if he had aged 10 years. I regret it, he said, his voice hoarse and choked with sobs. It's all my fault, please give me another chance, okay? He suddenly knelt down where he was. Wife, we promised to grow old together. I ran to Ethan, who had just gotten out of the car, and took his hand. Excuse me, sir, I said, I'm engaged. Then I pulled his hand and walked forward. He probably didn't see clearly, so he asked me, who was that? Someone unimportant.